Hey everyone, today we are going to be doing some talking about rifle builds once again. My buddy Drew and I here both did some shorty 11.5 builds in the very recent past, and just something we've been having a lot of fun with. It was something that kind of happened on a whim. Just to give a little bit of background, I saw an image on Instagram that was just living rent-free in my head, and I showed it to this guy, and we were both kind of obsessed with it, so slowly but surely we put a similar build together. You ended up kind of
swapping
things out and kind of reworking it a little bit. Mine has stayed more or less in that original configuration. And the fun thing about builds, I mean, obviously builds are fun. That's why a lot of people do it. It's just a nice exercise in, okay, well, what if, what do I do? How should I put this together? But this is one where I had kind of low expectations of what the final product would turn out to be, but it's actually been something I'm really, really pleased with and has been just a pleasure to shoot. Is it the most practical or modern? Definitely not, but it definitely is going to hold a place, I think, in my heart long term. So what we're going to do, we're just going to take turns running over our builds, why we have what we have, giving you some explanation of it, and then we'll kind of recap just overall what our experience has been with them, how we've tested them, etc., just so you can hopefully make some determination as to whether or not this is going to be something that is appropriate for you to build, or if you're going to do something similar, at least learn from what worked well for us or what worked poorly for us, so that you can hopefully spend your money a little bit more wisely. So we'll go ahead and run over mine first, and then we'll have Drew talk about his. So this is my 11.5 build, and really what, I'll roll in the picture of the one that was living rent-free in my head, but overall was very, very similar to how I have this one set up. So just to put some arbitrary measures on it of like, okay, well, how am I gonna justify this type of build? My idea was you take like a MACV saw guy out of Vietnam with the core rifle that he has, and take him to a modern gun store and say, okay, put whatever you want on it, and then send him back to Vietnam. How would I want it set up as a guy walking through the jungles of Vietnam? Is this really what that is? Maybe not. But that's kind of what I had mindset-wise. So I wanted to keep it somewhat classical configuration while giving it some modern upgrades to improve the utility of it. So at its core, this is obviously an SBR lower from Ballistic Advantage, and then the upper here is a Luth AR upper. So Luth AR, I didn't even realize was doing like retro style uppers. This is one of their C7 uppers, and then one of their 11.5 fixed front sight posts, like barrel assemblies. Kind of flew under my radar that they were even doing these retro builds, but picked it up, and again, I didn't really have much of an expectation for it because I had never used anything gun-wise from them. I'd used some of their accessories before, but it's really just been singing for me. So working from the back, we have one of the PSA reproduction, or like the H&R reproduction CAR 15 stocks. I've got one of the Onward Research slings. This is like that German kind of like rain camo pattern sling, which has been working well enough for me. And then up here we have the ACSS Cyclops from Primary Arms, their 1X Prism sight on one of their carry handle adapters, because this, again, with the C7 style upper, has that fixed carry handle. It's also got the teardrop forward assist, so for those of you that dig that, that is an option. They do also have slick side upper receivers as well, if that's more your speed. Just a regular mil-spec AR-15 charging handle. I didn't go the full retro like triangle style, so this is just more your modern mil-spec style. Also, I apologize if there's a lot of noise. We are at a range, so do with that what you will. Kind of bringing a little bit of the more recent retro into it. I did add a ready mag to this. This is one of the OG ready mags in steel, that when you hit the magazine release, it drops the secondary mag as well. It's just one of those things. It's again more of the G-Watt retro, but still I think just a cool thing to have on a rifle like this, although it does add a significant amount of weight. Internally, the changes I made, I have a BCM pistol grip, my favorite pistol grips on the market right now, a Radian Talon safety, my favorite safeties on the market right now, And then I wanted to try, I've been a big fan of the Geisley triggers for a long time, but I keep hearing about the LaRue MBT triggers. Went ahead and picked one of these up and installed it. I'm not going to say I like it better than the Geisley because I don't, but it is a good trigger. The installation's a little bit trickier than a Geisley, but again, a good trigger, serviceable for what I'm trying to use it for. Now, originally, this had one of like the full-size M4 style heat shields on it. I went ahead and swapped it out to one of the skinny heat shields, handguards, just to make it look a little bit more appropriate for that retro style. And then up front, I have one of the Midwest Industries front sight flashlight mounts to be able to mount this SIG MSR Foxtrot compact rifle light. I've actually been a big fan of these SIG Foxtrot MSR lights, both the full size and the compact. I've got several of them now, paid my own money for it for what that's worth. And then I'm running the tape switch just with some duct tape to be able to get that activated back there. And then this front sight mount also allows me to mount the sling up front as well. I do have one of the Huxworks Ventum 556 cans on there, predominantly running it with the can, but I've also obviously run it without the can. And one of the things that you typically run into when you're dealing with these short, like 11.5, 10.3, anything like that barrels, is a lot of companies drastically over drill the gas port because they want it to be reliable with a wider range of ammunition. This thing is exceedingly well tuned. It's probably the best tuned like gas port for the rifle that it's on, to where this thing just barely moves under recoil, even with the can. Granted, it's a flow-through can, so I have minimal access back pressure, but just it's a perfect 4 o'clock ejection with or without the can, and just really, really smooth. Honestly, it's one of the smoothest shooting impulses I have on any of my rifles, and especially considering this is an 11.5, that's saying something. That's not typically what you're going to run into. But yeah, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. You know, I could take this off and just run iron sights and it would be functional, but with the optic, obviously I'm raising that optic up quite a bit, but it is still fairly usable. Height over bore is definitely a consideration when you're shooting up close. You know, we've done a ton of drills with these rifle setups, and up close you start to notice quite a bit of difference in your point of aim versus point of impact. But overall, I mean, if I had to, and obviously I was assuming I'm not trying to run night vision, if I had to pick up this rifle and go defend myself with it, I wouldn't feel tremendously undergunned. Again, assuming that the other guy doesn't have night vision. So not too shabby, and relatively affordable too. None of the stuff that's in here is the Gucciest stuff. It just works, it's utilitarian, and shockingly functional from my perspective. So we'll go ahead and have Drew run through his build.
So my build is gonna have a lot less detail to it because I'm not Ryan and I don't know as much about stuff. But
I don't know what it's called. I just know the sound it makes when it takes a man's life.
So I started with a build very similar to the one Ryan has with the carry handle, the loose carry handle, and I liked it. I shot it for a while. I like painted it. It looked really cool. But I was having a hard time with the height over bore of it. And so I started looking at some other pictures and I was like, you know, I really want more like a Mark 18 style rifle. I just thought it looked cool with the quad rail and stuff. So this is started out as a 10.5 PSA pistol. It's been SBR'd. And then I have a Midwest Industries quad rail on it with fixed sight posts. And then I have, this is just a ProTac Streamlight light with a switch on the top. I really like the BCM foregrips. I kind of like the little bit of forward cant that they have. So that's just the Picatinny. And then I have a Magpul. I don't know which one this is. It's like the SL or the MOE, something like that.
MOE SL.
Yeah, so I like that. It's sort of the same style as like the regular like A2 pistol grip, but it's just a little more ergonomic and it doesn't have that little finger thing, which kind of gives me a little blister on my hand. The bolt is the same that came from the factory. It has a Geisley 2-stage trigger in it, which I just kind of pulled out of another rifle that I had and put it in this and liked it. Has a Radian charging handle, also pulled out of something else and put into this just because I don't have a ton of money to spend on stuff. And then it has a B5 Systems Bravo stock, which I really, really like. It's super comfortable. It looks cool. And it's got a nice little rubber butt pad on it. Optic wise, I have in Ames, I have 2 of these. I have one on another build, AK build, and I love them. They're super, super cool. Not the greatest for night vision, but I don't have night vision, so it doesn't matter. And then I have a Holosun magnifier. I can't remember which one this is. I think it's the 3XT, so it's a 3X, but it's not the big one. They have like one that's really long, and then this one's a little more compact. I like that. I don't use it a ton, but you know, it's a fun thing to shoot, and I have a good time shooting it. And I'm still new in my kind of training to AR platforms, so still kind of getting used to the manual of arms and stuff, but I'm getting better and having fun. So that's all I got. Yeah. Oh, and then the sling. This is a Lunar Concepts, and it's got kind of like a bend to it and like a little bit of padding, so it's nice. I like it. And it's got like the quick release kind of extension thing on it, whatever you want to call that.
The little glide.
Yeah, the little glide, so you can keep it tight or you can extend it out, and yeah, it's fun. I like it.
I will also say, since he mentioned the Ames, they're actually not bad for night vision. I have used one of my Ames with night vision, and they do pretty well. But again, when you're talking about 11.5 builds, I think this is something that is far more practical than something like this. Again, people talk a lot of, well, with modern optic mounts, it's basically the same height as a carry handle optic. No, it's not. The carry handle optics are still quite a bit taller. It's going to be impossible to use it with a magnifier or anything like that.
Yeah, it was like 4 inches over.
It's significant. Even with, well, hold on, pause. So this is a 12.5 SBR build that I have. So this is an EOTech with the Unity riser, and it is still quite a bit shorter than this one with the carry handle optic. So it's something that takes some getting used to, and if you have a lot of muscle memory behind more standard height or even 226 height optics, there's still a learning curve getting used to having your head that far up. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, that also exacerbates the issues you have with height over bore considerations when you're up close. Mm-hmm. So again, it's something that that's not to say it's impossible to use. If you train on this, you're going to be just as effective, if not more effective, than someone with, well, you're going to be more effective than someone with a more modern setup that doesn't train at all. You know, we were out here doing a bunch of drills, running back and forth, getting ourselves tired, and shooting our silencers off. In this one person's case, just pro tip: don't use chemo adapters for your silencers. Just seeing a lot of issues with those. But
it's a sad day.
It's a bummer.
It's a big bummer.
And I will also say the Huxworks Ventum 556. So I bought mine, ran it on this, and it was so pleasant sounding, like shockingly pleasant sounding for how short this rifle is, that he went ahead and picked one up and had been running it on his as a direct thread. Recently changed it to the chemo.
Literally, this is the first day I've shot it with chemo, and after less than
maybe under 2 mags.
Under 2 mags, all the chemo, whatever, teeth sheared off, and then 2 rounds went through the baffles, and I don't know, it's bad.
Yeah, not a problem with the YHM mounts that I have on mine, but again, it's one of those things where this started as an endeavor to just do a fun build, but ultimately arrived at a place where I think we both have, in slightly different ways, a really functional, really utilitarian build. I mean, this is something you could throw in the bed of a truck and have as a truck gun on your property. You know, however you want to do something like that. It's just, there's not a lot to go wrong with it. It's been super reliable. It's really well tuned. And again, I was just really genuinely impressed by the quality of the Luth AR upper receiver and like the C7 upper and everything like that. Just really happy with that. They do also do other like retro style uppers. They do an M4 upper that I've kind of been eyeballing, but we'll see. I've got a stripped FN M4 lower, which obviously means I need to do another build because that's just how that works. So I need an upper for that. But anyway, Again, it's just, I don't know. It's just a fun, cool
Yeah.
thing that turned out to be way more functional than I think either of us expected.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely roll in footage of his when it was kind of almost more of that Gordy carbine style setup.
Yeah.
It looked pretty slick.
The original, the kind of inspiration was either the Gordy or like the Blood Diamond carbine.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot, and that's kind of like what I was going for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I mean, again, you can start with whatever inspiration you want, and then sometimes I think you'll surprise yourself with how nice of a final product it actually has. There's a reason that those rifles were set up the way that they were, because it clearly worked. And whether or not it's the most optimal or meta build that you can do right now,
Doesn't matter.
whatever. What matters is actually getting out, training, running around, getting tired. Apparently not dropping to prone fast enough. That we were running a drill where I don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you guys have builds or recommendations or anything like that yourselves, go ahead and throw those in the comment section down below. I do want to say thanks to my patrons for helping out with videos like this one, or at least justifying the range time and ammo expenditures to be able to bring content like this to you guys. Because of that, we post all our content over there early. We do live streams, we do some exclusive content. If any of that stuff sounds interesting, or you just want to financially support the channel, go ahead and follow the links down in the description below. Anything else you want to add about your build or anything like that?
I have some emails to send.
Yeah.
To Huxworks and
Dead Air.
And Dead Air. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. So.
Yeah. If you go over to my Instagram, you'll see photos of what the inside of his can looks like, and then the inside of what mine looks like, so you can see what it's supposed to look like versus what his looks like. I'm fairly confident there is still a bullet inside.
Yeah, there's
the baffle stack
something still
of
lodged in there, because there were 3 rounds that were sideways on the paper.
Yeah.
Or 2 rounds that were sideways on the paper, and then the can just flew off as I shot. Yeah. So there's probably one still in there.
You can see the bullet path into the baffles, but it doesn't leave the baffle.
Yeah.
So it's and there's also jacket and everything in there
there's
too.
all sorts of junk in there.
Fun stuff. If you was it F in the chat for his silencer. So anyway, with all that being said, as always, I hope you got something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.